So welcome everybody. On today's guest for our podcast we have a photographer here, Wesley. He has been an award-winning photographer. He has been doing it for 35 years. He takes photos of VVIPs, famous people, singers like Ronan Keating, actors like Simon Yen, a lot of different people. And we want to figure out how he found this passion and how he became really top of his game in this. So thank you so much, Wesley, for coming.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Awesome. So I'm always curious about how people find that passion, because most people in Singapore don't find that passion. They just go and find a job or whatever degree they have or diploma, get a job, settle there, and then just live life like Friday and Saturday and Sunday is your life, right? TGIF, rather than people who are extremely passionate at TGIM. So if I were to really be very curious, going back all the way, what happened? What do you start with? Was there like different jobs that you did before photography?
I actually, if I kind of like to go back to primary school.
Okay.
When I was in primary school, it turns out that I love to draw in class. So it came to a point in primary 2 or 3, right, that I started drawing a lot in class, and to the extent that my mom was called down. Only in the last few years, right, I realized that getting a parent's called down is not a really good thing, because I'm a parent myself now.
Yeah.
So having a parent's called down was actually a really, really bad thing. And because of that, I was stopped by dad to in art and all that kind of stuff. But for some reason, when I was about 17, 18, he found out that I liked photography because I borrowed somebody's camera and I tried out taking pictures and all that. And he passed me his camera. And I started taking photos. And what happened was that I didn't really do well at my A-levels. I missed NUS by 1 grade. So I ended up doing the second thing that I really liked, which was IT, which was computers. So I had a IT diploma. Right. I was doing IT for close to about 5 to 6 years. I tried everything in IT.
Right. Wait, this is after your diploma?
After my diploma.
Okay. So just backwards a little bit.
Yes.
You enjoyed drawing so much that you got called in.
I got called in.
Why would a teacher stop you from drawing?
Because, the teacher didn't stop me from drawing. Actually, because they were teaching, right? I was just drawing stuff. Star Wars. Yeah. Whatever shows I watched, so I just was drawing instead of paying them attention. Okay. But I've come to realize that actually I have a bit of a reading disability. Okay. So that's why I think I didn't catch on well in school.
All the academic things.
Yeah. So I just started drawing, and drawing was, I think in a way, was in my second nature. Okay. So I just drew. I just drew stuff and all that, and it was such an extent. I think it was, the teacher was quite mortified, like he was shocked. Okay. Then my dad, thought like, okay, this is a bad thing. Instead, but this is old school so instead drawing is not a really good thing. Then he made me focus on science and math. Okay. And I did focus on science and math. I did pretty well, but when it came to JC time, I picked up photography, and after that, things got a bit more messy. Right. Yeah.
So after JC and all that, you went to IT for
I went to Ngee for a diploma in computer studies. Okay. Because there wasn't a photography school in Singapore. There wasn't Temasek Poly at that time. Okay. So the next closest thing I really liked was IT, was computers. So I picked up computers. I did UX, database, systems analysis, basically nearly everything to do with IT, Photoshop, design, whatever I had to do with it. I found out that I liked it as a fun thing, but not as a business.
Right. So this was after your diploma?
Yes, after my diploma.
So then you were doing what? Odd jobs, freelance, or what
was it? I was
hired by somebody?
I was actually in a company, Seiko, for a while. Seiko, okay. Up in Woodlands. I did database design and maintenance and all that. I tried it for a year. I realized I didn't like full-time job. So I went to do part-time in IT. Okay.
But do you like the database things?
I really like the database stuff itself, but I didn't like the business of it or the work. So I love database because there's a beauty in its design, and when the well-designed database is done properly, right, it's actually functional, and there's a beauty to the way it works. Okay. Yeah.
So you did database for a year, then after that, you
After
stopped?
that, I did database, but on a part-time basis.
So you
with
became
another guy.
freelance?
Freelance.
Okay, because you couldn't take 9 to 5.
I couldn't take 9 to 5. Yeah.
Okay,
I
why
couldn't take-
can't you take 9 to 5?
I found it boring.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
so you're okay with the work? You're actually quite energized?
I was
database?
energized with the work,
Okay.
but not with. Actually, I found that when I was making it as a business or as
It's a full-time thing, lah.
it's a full-time thing, right? I really didn't like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was.
Any
very
reason why
tough.
you think about it? Like, why was it the 9 to 5? Was it stifling for you?
I think it was the way that I ran. Okay, so when you build a database, you're building it for people, right?
Yes.
You're building for a company.
Yeah.
I felt that I didn't like the liaison or the process that came with building a database.
Okay.
I didn't enjoy it. I found that
That
it
sounds
was
like normal corporate red tape.
yeah. So in a way, I was very young. I was like
Okay.
22,
Right.
no, 23, 24.
Okay.
And I realized that the corporate stuff I didn't like. I liked the database, but I didn't like the corporate side of it.
Right. So
Yeah.
the liaison, the talking to different people,
Yeah,
stakeholders,
yeah.
trying to
Like,
get approval,
yes.
red tape.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
so you didn't
yeah.
like that part, but you liked the task itself.
I like the task
Okay.
itself. That was
Then
so
you
fun.
went freelance,
Yeah, I went freelance.
doing that.
Yes.
And people actually paid you to do the kind of things.
Yes.
Wow,
There were,
interesting.
there were companies. Then I got to know some people, and they handle all the
Yeah, they handle everything.
everything
so
else.
you're like the star, lah.
yeah.
Then
So,
the artist has his manager.
Yeah, I was just doing the stuff. But then I realized that I really didn't like that too after a while. So I tried it for a year or two. I
Right.
think a year or two, I realized I didn't like
Didn't like database that
I
much.
didn't like database that much,
Okay.
the work of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then you mentioned that was that the same time that you tried out photography?
Oh, actually, I was doing photography since I was 18. So when I was in...
So this is in JC?
So in JC, I was hustling photography. I was selling photos.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because we didn't have a lot of money. So in those days, right, it was all film camera.
Yes.
So in order to feed my hobby, right, I would take pictures and sell it to JC friends for a 10 cents profit so I could buy the next roll of film.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you even get the camera in the first place? Your dad?
So my dad passed me his camera.
Okay. Was it a good camera or just
It was
random?
okay camera, but then I realized it wasn't really what I wanted. I sold it off.
Okay.
I got another camera.
Right.
Then I started taking portraits of friends in school. So I take portraits.
So wait, you took photos of
Yes.
like random stuff first and sold it at 10 cent profit?
No, I took pictures of friends or group photos. Then I said, "Hey, do you want these photos?" They said, "Yeah, I like this photo." Okay, so it's actually 35. I'll sell it for 35 cents. It's 25 cents at
Yeah.
that point in time. So I sold it for 35 cents. Do you want it? I said, "Oh, okay." So it's 35 cents, right?
But how do you do that? So let's say I take photo and then last time it's film, right?
Yes.
You take wrong photo, that's it already.
Oh yeah. So you take a photo of your friends and all
Yeah.
that, right? Then I put it into a little album.
Yeah.
Then I'll bring it to class after about 3 days. So because I'll go down and get the stuff done,
You get it developed. And all
develop and all that. The photo, then if the photo has a couple of people inside, then they'll say, "Hey, I like this photo. Can I have it?" Yeah. No, why not I just print it for you, one extra, and it's 35
35
cents.
cents. So
Yeah.
the more people, the better. lah.
Yeah. So what I'll do, right, is that
And this is random. That means like you just take photos like in what? Void Deck Canteen, all that. What?
yeah, canteen, the swimming club,
Yes.
and all that. We have pictures and all that, right? What I realized was that the official people will take 2 weeks to shoot and deliver the shots.
Yeah.
And for ordering on the school board and all that. But what I did was that I did it in 3 days.
Okay. So
Yeah.
So you were more efficient.
I just went down, get it developed,
Yeah.
and just show those people, "Hey, do you want this shot of your committee and all that?" Because I'll just take the shot, right? And they say,
Right.
"Okay," then I realized, I could actually sell these photos.
So cool.
Yeah.
So what
It
was
wasn't.
this was in JC.
It was in JC. I did it
You were
because
hustling in JC.
I was hustling in JC because I like photography. I realized I really like photography. It was
Okay.
an extension of my drawings and
Yeah,
all that.
yeah.
And what happened was that I realized I like taking pictures and portraits of people.
Okay.
And it was really fun. Take pictures of the girls, the guys,
yeah.
and all that. Yeah.
So maybe the portrait part helped with the business, because if I take photo of something random like a tree, cannot sell to anybody.
Nobody will buy it. Yeah.
So it's almost like the marathon photos lah.
Yeah.
Right. If your name is there, then you buy from me.
Yeah.
It's like like where is that? Universal Studios and all that.
Yeah.
Okay. So you did that.
Yes.
With no training whatsoever in photography. You
No
just
training.
random.
Oh.
As long as their face is there, can already.
Yeah. So I'll approach friends like, hey, can I take a photo?
Yeah.
So I'll practice. I realized I was drawn to portraits.
Okay.
Because when I was very young, when I was secondary school, I would still be drawing by myself. I would show my dad. I would draw the stuff, and I love drawing portraits. I'll copy portraits of famous people.
Okay.
And I liked it. So I was drawing all the time. So when I came to JC, I'll take portraits of friends. In fact, the lens that I bought was actually in a way like a portrait lens.
Okay.
So I just taking portraits now.
Right. So portraits and group photos.
Group photos.
Sell to them.
Class photos, group photos.
So are you the official photographer?
No, I wasn't.
Okay.
So I was operating outside of the official photographers. I'll make my own profit, just to feed my hobby.
The school didn't catch you, man?
It wasn't illegal.
Ah.
Yeah, it wasn't. And
so cool.
the guys were really nice. The photography society, right? They're actually very nice folks. They really seem to mind, because end of the day, I think they had their own priorities.
Yeah.
So I was given. I was free reign. I just take whatever. And no, there was nothing against taking photos. Yeah.
Okay. So you did that, and that was your side hustle.
Yes.
While your side hustle throughout your IT database and all
Yes.
that, you were still doing
Yes,
that? But
I was
there's no
still
more
doing
school, so where do you go and find that?
So what happened was that so in those days there was no internet, right?
Yeah, zero.
This is early 90s. So what happened was that there were some really good photo labs. Okay, in town.
Photo lab means what? Developing?
Yeah, developing.
Okay.
They call it photo labs.
Yeah.
So there was one particular photo lab, right, where the guy had a little sit-around corner in the shop. This is Far East Plaza.
Okay.
It's called KC Color Lab. He was already a really good color lab. Okay. So I would sit down and look at my photos and all that. And sometimes there'll be other photographers, professional guys will pop by, wait for 2 hours for the photos to be developed, printed, and they'll rush back to the clients, right?
Right.
So I got to meet some of this one of this gentlemen. He became my sifu. He's an ex-Straits Times photographer.
Okay.
And he said, hey, Wes, can I give you $50? Go to Sentosa, take some shots for me, copy the shots. Is that okay for you? And at the time I was in the army, and it was like $50.
A lot.
That's a lot of money, because at
last
that time
$50 is today how much? 500
Okay, let me give you the equivalent of the army pay. Army pay was $195
for men.
for a man. No, $195 for a whole, for a man.
Okay.
Yeah, so
now
$50
it's around what? 500,
I think it's a
900?
lot
500.
more.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So $50 is like 150,
lah.
200. Yeah, it's a lot of money. It's quite a bit. So it's like, okay, I'll do it. So I
And
realized
you were noob, totally noob.
totally new, but he saw my pictures. He saw that it was decently exposed.
Okay.
And it was pretty okay. Then he said, copy the shot. I said, okay, man, that's good.
So you hung out around
Yes.
places where people higher than you in terms of professionalism,
Yes.
performance.
Yes.
And because just you were there,
Yes.
luck happened.
Yeah.
And you were able to gain from them.
Yes.
You probably asked them a lot of questions.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I did.
And then glean from them, and then you just carry on doing that.
Yeah.
So you kind of found a sweet spot.
Yeah,
of
sweet
where
spot
all the
lah.
photographers. Was that the only
Absolutely.
place that Singapore photographers went to?
Interestingly enough, that was
Like
one
the
of the
hub.
few places.
One of the few places.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's actually very unusual, because the other place will be actually coming this society called the Photographic Society of Singapore.
Okay.
It's a very old established one,
Yeah.
but they're more doing salon photography, like models and all that kind of
Right.
stuff.
Okay.
But this was actually working photographers, like they'll shoot for events,
Right.
they'll shoot for certain things like interior or industrial photography and all that.
Okay. So you did that while you were in army,
Yes.
and then but army was before your IT.
Yes, correct.
Right. So you did that.
Yes.
Then while in IT, do you have time to do?
Yes, I'll do part-time. No? Like for
Okay.
example,
Saturday,
like,
Sunday?
I think Saturdays. Or
Okay.
I'll do weddings. Everybody. They ask me. I'll just try out.
Just try like.
Yeah, the
doesn't
most
matter
we
lah.
feel right. Because I like it so much to try. Just try everything lah. Yeah.
Okay. So you did while you were exploring, you did weddings.
Yes.
You did outdoor shoot means what?
outdoor shoot,
That
outdoor
means the
weddings.
Straits Times guy asked you to go and take photo means what?
Oh,
Of what? Palm trees at
no,
Sentosa.
he got me to shoot like now there's this place called the Barracks Hotel, right?
Yeah, okay.
Because Barracks Hotel and there's one. No, sorry, it's the other one. It's called Ritz.
But it's buildings.
So it's a building.
Yeah,
So
okay.
they converted some of this buildings hotel. So I needed to take some wax museum things and all that.
Okay.
So I'll just go and copy the shot for them because they needed some something that was pretty close. So I just shot
Okay.
whatever he shot before.
Right.
And he just paid me the money. Of course, he got a big cut out of it, but
Yeah lah.
at the time I didn't care. I just wanted
Yeah.
to have experience.
So you did weddings, you did outdoor,
Commercial photography,
building
portraits,
shot. You did a lot of portraits.
Yes.
What else did you try?
I tried jewelry photography.
Jewelry photography.
Yeah, it turns out I didn't really like it, but I
But
tried
it's
it
a different
out.
lens, right?
I had the lens that
Okay,
could
you had.
go.
Okay,
Yeah,
so you tried it out. You didn't like it.
I didn't like it.
What else do you like? What else did you try?
There was. I didn't try food at that time because I did do that, but most of it was events photography.
Events,
Yeah.
so weddings,
Yeah.
commercial
Yeah,
events like
yeah.
D&Ds and all that.
Yeah,
You did that?
D&Ds and all that kind of stuff.
They
So
pay
I
well,
said-
right?
Not bad.
Okay.
In fact, weddings was pretty good. I got my first wedding. I paid $600. Yeah, that was really good money.
And that was like big lah.
this is big. I mean, my monthly pay was 195, right? So it was good because
Okay.
I got the hustling going
Yes,
and,
yes,
and
yes.
it fed my hobby lah.
Okay, so while you're doing IT, you're doing that,
Yes.
and then you did part-time IT. When
Yes.
did everything kind of like, you know what, screw all that,
Yeah.
I'm just going to go straight into photography all the way?
Okay, that's a really good question because at that time, right, it wasn't a good thing to go into photography
Because?
because
I know, arts. Because it's artsy.
yeah, it's artsy and
Cannot make money, man.
Yeah, cannot make money.
Yeah, like
it wasn't
singing,
a-
dancing, like, yeah, okay.
So I don't know what the viewpoint we have right now, but at the time it was really a bad thing. That's why my dad discouraged me.
Same, I mean, like, everything, like, you want to be ballerina or like
Yeah.
you're a musician, like,
Yeah.
cannot lah. Singapore cannot. So
Yeah,
that's
it's
a
hard.
usual
Yes.
thing, but you got that
Yes.
from who? Your dad or from society?
I think from my dad at first. Then
Okay.
then my mom told me someone badmouthed her, and she told them my son was doing photography. He said, "Oh, can you really make money?"
Oh, yeah, okay.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
From 93 to about 97, 98, right, I was doing part-time photography. Then I exhausted everything in IT. I did web design. I coded.
So after so you're doing freelance database,
Yes.
then you carry on doing other IT stuff.
Other IT stuff. I tried
so
everything.
While you're doing photography,
Yes.
you were also trying out
Yeah.
IT.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
what do you try in IT? UX?
UX. I love
Website-
UX.
Website design?
Website design. Website
Last
coding.
time it's HTML. Last
This-
time it's like,
It's
wow.
pure coding on Notepad.
Okay. So what else do you try?
I tried Photoshop,
Okay.
design stuff,
Right. Graphic designs?
graphic design,
Posters, all that?
Posters.
Okay.
We would get them printed on Epson inkjet paper for
Oh my goodness.
yogurts place. I
Yeah.
tried everything.
But okay, so this is the interesting thing. You
Yes.
have two things that you kind of are good at.
Yes.
Good at means the market will pay you.
Yes.
But you know that photography was something that there was fire there.
Yes.
But did IT also have fire? That means while you were exploring, you were enjoying yourself exploring?
No. After 1 year of almost everything, I got very bored. So I tried for about a year.
Okay.
Then I felt, it's boring. Let's
Cannot.
try something else. Yeah, I just kept on moving to trying different stuff. So I tried many different facets of IT.
And then once you tried it out, once it's closed,
Yes.
you were like, what? Well, what was the point that says, you know what, screw this whole thing, I just got to go straight into photography?
So I realized there's nothing left in IT for me to try, right?
Okay.
I said,
Well, how about
yes.
making computers?
I did that too.
Okay.
It's
Building it. Last time, like always building.
building it.
Yeah.
Margin profit I found out was very low. Was
Okay.
too low because I paid I think the profit margin is only about $50 to $100.
Okay. And it's a lot of time.
It's a lot of time.
Right,
I
okay.
even explored doing Tamiya building tanks and all that, right?
Tamiya cars last time.
Yeah, cars and
Okay.
tanks and all that. I found out that the profit margin was like $30. I'm like, could I spend 10 hours doing for the So I realized that I needed it to be sustainable.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So couldn't.
Yes.
Right. So didn't do that. Then
Yes.
So you went
Yes.
full. You quit your freelance IT
Yes.
and you went full on freelance photography.
Yes.
And take me through when you're doing freelance. Are you just like, doesn't matter, whatever jobs I'll just
Yes,
get?
yes.
You didn't major on anything yet?
No, I didn't
Okay.
major anything yet. What was interesting, now that I mentioned it, was very interesting was that, so when I did photography in JC, right, there came a time when the council at that time, this is a story in itself, it's actually quite bizarre. Council at the time, they said, hey, we wanted to do, for the prom night, right, for seniors night, we wanted to do a montage of, like school life and everything. And the official photographers for the school, the photography society, didn't want to do it because it's near A levels.
Right. Okay. So you rather just study lah.
Study.
No, but you don't even need to, what? Because like, there's no more CCAs. They should be stopping the CCAs.
Yeah, should join CCAs, right?
Yeah.
It's like, can you? They don't want to do it. No. Do you want to do it? I said, oh, does it mean I have free film? He said, yeah. Okay.
You're not paid.
I'm not paid.
But free film is important to you.
Free film because
Film
was including and this is a slide film, so including processing is about $12 a pop.
It's expensive.
They gave me about 5 rolls, and the 5 rolls, it was gold and 60 shots.
Right.
That was amazing. So 60 shots, and I covered school life. I realized I really liked it. I mean, to this day, I still remember the shots that it said shoot kids walking around, doing stuff. Like I went early in the morning to catch a sunrise, hitting the school because
So lifestyle.
Right. Lifestyle.
Whatever normally you would just see in school.
Absolutely.
And okay, so help us understand, because
Yes.
most of the people have no idea what film is
Yes.
and how precious it is.
Yes.
What about this 5 rows?
Yes.
And each one is 12.
Each one is 36. Oh, each one is 36 shots.
36, yeah.
So I get about 3. No, sorry, there only, my bad, only 3 rows.
Okay.
I only took about maybe 180 shots there.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Absolutely.
So, and that was precious because you were trying to hone your basically anything, like as long as I can try, can already.
Correct.
As long as anybody gives me a chance.
Yes.
Okay.
Any opportunity,
Doesn't matter.
somebody give me a chance.
Free,
I'll
not
just-
free.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
one thing I realized
Yes.
in terms of trying to find your passion, a lot of people try to put remuneration and reward
Yes.
in front of things that you want to just try out for free.
Right.
So a lot of people like, if I'm not getting paid, I'm not going to do it.
Right.
So what is your view on that?
Oh, that's a very interesting question. So I'm going to continue the story,
Okay,
Because that's got a link to what
Oh
you
yes,
have
yes, the
asked.
entire
So at that time, the council couldn't pay me, but all kids, right?
Yeah.
18-year-olds who couldn't be paid. So they used the photos on seniors night. And 9 years later, 9 years later, I got a call from the college, and they said, hey Wes, the photos the slides you took of seniors for seniors night 9 years ago, right? Do you know we've been using them for school open house? I said, what? Seriously? I was like, so at that time I was 18 now. So in 97, 98 was about 20 something years old. I was shocked. I was like, what? You're using all these photos? And I said, wow, okay.
a decade later, then they tell you.
Yeah, about 7 years later, they told me, because at the time, and these are slides. So in the old days, there was no PowerPoint. It was just basically slide projector and all that. There was no PowerPoint, no computers.
Actual slides.
Those, man.
Those like white color, and then you
yeah.
because they convert the negative into a slide.
Oh no, a slide is a slide. So when you project it projects to the wall, right?
Yeah.
It's always a slide, not a negative. So a slide film is a slide film.
Yes, okay.
Yeah. So they said, hey, Wes, you've been using it.
Wow.
Would you like to come back to the school and do more?
Wow.
I said, yeah, why not, man?
Yeah.
So I went back to the school back in about 97, 98.
Yes.
And this was close to near the tail end of my IT stuff already, because I was trying web design. That was my last thing.
Yeah.
So I went back to the school. Now, the teacher in charge of publicity at that point in time, he said, Wes, I have to tell you first, we do not have money.
Okay.
I'm just going to pay you on a per roll basis.
Right.
So in back in the days when you're doing on a per roll basis, right? When we take photos for clients, there is a roll charge, which is about $40, regardless of whichever is it. And there is a fee per hour charge.
Yeah.
School says that we do not have a budget for your fees, but we have budget for the per roll charge.
Okay.
And I sat there and I said, should I do it? Because but I remember that I really loved it. And it was in the same school. So I thought I thought I loved it. And I said, okay, why not we do it? We share the copyright of the images.
Yeah.
But I also need 100% art direction. I'll shoot whatever I want.
Okay.
And I'll do what I feel,
Okay.
what this represents what school life was to me.
Right.
Teacher said, okay, we got no money. That's also so it was a trade.
Okay.
I didn't get money, but I got 100% art direction.
Right.
And it took me a year. 1 year. So I'll cover the rugby match. I'll cover some different things.
Wow.
And after 1 year, right, they came out with a whole lot of slides.
Yeah.
And they used it.
Yeah.
And I remember I made gross profit. 1 year was $1,500, of which 60% or 70% was transport plus film. But I absolutely enjoyed the project. I loved it.
Right.
I created something that was, I think it was unique because at that point in time in 97, 98, there wasn't any professional photographers doing any work for schools.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this project ended up being a breakthrough project. The designer took these pictures and used it to forefront as a key element of a prospectus. So
Right.
usually prospectus, you have more text than pictures, but he actually put the pictures as to lead.
Prospectus is for school. Schools have prospectus, man.
Yes, they have.
Okay. Okay.
So the prospectus was for secondary school students.
Right. Okay.
So in the old days,
but is it the
right,
same as school magazine?
different thing altogether.
Okay.
So prospectus is basically telling people how good your school is, lah. And it's
these
very
are
thin.
for who?
For people they are looking to
So maybe they are overseas coming to Singapore.
Yes.
They want to go into this school.
yes,
Okay.
or for the school within the local population, they say, hey,
Yeah.
this school is really good. And at the time, the school really needed publicity.
Okay. Okay. So it's more of you help with is their marketing branding
Yes,
lah.
correct.
Okay. Got
We
it.
found out it was branding lah.
Yes.
I didn't know what it was,
Yeah, yeah.
but it turned out it was a branding thing.
Yeah.
And that basically started snowballing because people saw the prospectus.
Yeah.
So other schools started calling me. Design firm called me and said, hey, can you do this out of school stuff? Like they really liked it. They got the vibe of it. Yeah, and that snowballed. That particular project really absolutely snowballed because I did it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy.
So it's worth it lah. The 1,005 minus 600 transport and all that because you had
Yes.
so much more value. After
Yeah, it was a lot more value. I think because it's very rare for to have a photographer to have full art direction in any project.
Okay.
So I traded my fees for art direction, which is very, very hard to do. So for me, that was a good trade.
Okay.
And it turned out to be a good gamble. Lah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. So that was and because of that, would you say you got a lot more jobs?
So at that time, about the same time, I actually started to say that I said I'm not going to do IT anymore.
Yeah,
Let's
okay.
go on photography, right? From that one prospectus, we showed a prospective people. People liked it. They said, Wes, can you shoot this lifestyle thing? Because back in 1998, 99, lifestyle photography wasn't a thing. It was still very posed, very constructed stuff.
Yeah.
I did stuff that was slightly more informal.
Feels like news kind of.
Photojournalistic style. Yes,
That
absolutely.
means if
absolutely.
you go somewhere that has a crisis, you take photo of what's happening
Yes,
there. It's
yes.
almost like you are seeing them
Yes.
in the eyes of the normal person.
Yeah, very
Right.
much, very much. Of course,
Okay.
we made it look better. And
Yeah lah.
what we did was that, okay, because at that point of time, I didn't mention this, but I had two wonderful and interesting and very challenging mentors
Okay.
that basically helped me to understand how to work a project.
Okay.
How to put a photography project together, how
Okay.
to understand what the client needs.
Okay.
So and I did that
Yeah.
along with my own style. My own style is that I need photos to have a certain amount of realism, whether it's photojournalistic
Yeah.
or whether it's what I call a constructed, engineered candid.
Okay.
Yeah, so we engineer scenes that look
Right.
kind of real.
Yeah. So okay, three of
yeah.
you stay there. Pretend you're cheering.
Yeah, we
That
talk
kind of
about
thing.
stuff.
Yeah.
We don't talk about sharing.
chit-chat there,
Yeah,
yeah,
chit chat.
okay,
And all that. Yeah, kind of stuff. So I
Yeah.
like that, and it wasn't very popular in school.
Okay.
In fact, I showed some of these shots to a Magnum photographer.
Yeah. What is a Magnum photographer?
Okay, Magnum photographer. How do I do it? It's like
top of their game.
international.
Okay.
Yeah. So and he didn't understand it. Also, he's like,
Right.
I don't know what you're doing. So. But after people started to see and they said, hey, can you do this one? So I started doing for different schools.
So schools actually engage you.
They called me up and said, Wes, can
Schools
you do
have
it?
money to engage you.
Interesting, right?
Yeah.
So for that particular school that I shot for
Yeah.
nearly for free, right?
Yeah.
The next year they say, hey, Wes, we created a budget for publicity.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Then
now they kind of like, they saw your work, it
Yeah.
was so much of value. They
Yes.
say that this is going to be good for perspectives and all the rest.
Yes.
And good for our branding.
Yes.
Let's create a budget just for you.
correct.
Nice.
Actually, not for me per se, but for the fact that photos can work.
Yes.
So they saw a proof of concept.
Yes.
And they said, let's do it. So
Okay.
they convinced the higher ups and all that. They got created, but it was good. It was really good budget.
Okay.
So I did a lot more stuff.
Right.
And those images that we created during those years, right, they ended up being on a permanent display in larger than life size in that particular school for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
So it's become a thing. And I was really, I mean, it's really exciting lah.
So help us understand. So after you got all these deals from schools
Yes.
and you carry on doing that,
Yes.
and you stopped your IT already.
I stopped. The big factor was that when I did photography, after that 1 year anniversary, right, I said, hey, I'm
What
not
is 1 year
bored.
anniversary?
So every time I did IT, right, there was this 1 year I tried database, I didn't like it. I tried Photoshop design, I didn't like it. So it was actually very funny. My patience will run out after a year.
No. So you did many different things in many years, not just 1 year.
Yeah, many different things in many years.
Okay. So
yeah.
you did. So IT roughly after you finish your diploma, how many years do you do IT?
I did for 4 to 5 years, thereabouts.
Okay, so 4 or 5 years you tried out many different
Yeah,
things.
many different
like
things.
that.
Yeah, I
Then
tried
But you know
this,
that
tried
every
that.
time after 1 year,
I got bored.
then you went on to something
Yeah,
else.
yeah.
So you were still working full time, but in a freelance basis
Yes,
for IT,
yes.
which is something that you were still discovering.
Discovering,
Did
yes.
you ever think that IT is going to be your baby rather than photography?
At that point in time when I started IT, I thought that IT would be my baby because I love IT. I absolutely love. I mean, in school, right? I loved doing UX stuff. Like my idea was that in UX, can your grandmother use it?
Yes,
That's my idea.
Like
yeah, you know what I
simplest
mean.
way lah.
The
Yeah.
simplest way to do it, right?
Same as communication, right? Can
Yes.
a primary school understand what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah, things like that.
Absolutely. So I tried it. So but every time after 1 year, I'll get bored for whatever reason, right?
Yeah.
And when I did photography for about a year, I realized I wasn't bored.
Ah.
I was like, wow.
Okay, so this is
Yes.
interesting because
Yes.
most people, when they try something out,
Yeah.
they feel that I'm losing my energy.
Yes.
I'm losing the fire.
Yep.
But that is work. That is normal work. Just push on and be a responsible adult
Yes.
and just get the salary
Yes.
and just do it.
Yes.
What is your take on that?
I didn't. Okay. I really have a lot of respect for those adults.
Yeah. That's majority of people.
Majority, but I didn't have the patience. I had no patience
Right.
to do it for more than a year. And my girlfriend, who's now my wife at that point in time, she says that, when she saw me working out, my face was like, oh, I don't want to go to work. And sometimes people see you better than you see yourself, right?
Yes. Yes.
So in the end, I was energized by photography.
By photography.
Yeah.
Okay.
I felt like, hey, I really like this. I
Right.
like creating stuff.
Yeah.
I like interacting with people and getting people to smile and all that. It was fun.
Would there ever be a time that IT, if I give you enough environment for you to practice or try something new, let's say I give you art direction for
Yes.
IT.
Yes.
You're going to do this UX that a grandmother can use.
Yes.
And leave it to you, this is the budget, go for it. Would it have changed your trajectory of your life? Could it have?
Yeah, it could have.
Could have, right?
Yeah, could have.
So you
Yes.
enjoyed IT,
Yes.
but somehow maybe other things affected it to a point where you didn't have that things that you could do
Yeah.
in photography. And it sounds like autonomy was a big thing,
Yeah. I think
Creative
autonomy
direction.
was a big thing. Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right about that.
right?
Yep.
So if I
Yeah.
have creative direction
Yes.
in my UX,
Yes.
you give me this budget,
Yeah.
I handle this.
Yep.
A different Wesley could have come across.
Yeah. It's
that,
true.
that you are a shen or
It's
a
true.
god in UX.
Yes.
Could have,
Yes, I could have.
but it didn't happen.
No, it didn't
Yeah,
happen,
and
unfortunately.
that's life. That's life. So it's always the sliding doors, the multiverse of
Yep.
careers.
Yep.
If given a choice, somebody found you and gave you what you needed
Yep.
for you to thrive in that, you could have been there.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing that I do share with the people is that you have many passions. You don't have only one. You can have IT, you can have UX, you can have photography. And for some strange reason, you're just passionate about many things. It is whether or not those doors of opportunity keep opening for you.
Yes.
Sometimes it closes. Like for me, me and Mark play guitar
Yeah.
in the on Orchard Road, busking.
Yes.
So people ask us to do wedding singing,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
ask us to sing our own songs. So nobody understood what the heck we're singing.
Yeah.
But if somebody came, Warner Brothers said, I'll sign you up,
Yes.
I'm not here. I'm gonna be touring with Mark.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's the idea that there's a portion of luck that just so happened that you had more doors of opportunity keep opening from photography.
Yes.
And it just didn't open for IT.
I do agree to you to a large extent, but I also think that end of the day is it's a clapping thing.
Yeah.
It also takes a certain amount of competence. Like someone. Okay, my idea about business is that if someone came to you and say, "Hey, Jason, can you sing for this wedding thing?"
Yeah.
They actually know you can.
Yeah.
Half the battle is won already.
Yes.
So when it came to the UX bit, I think partly whatever I did, it wasn't appreciated, or I wasn't good enough in UX for it to work as a business. Or yeah. That's why the doors was closed. But turn-up photography, people liked it. I said, okay, let's follow them and see where it leads. And more doors kept opening.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
There's a level of your passion.
Yes.
Your next level is performance.
Yes.
If you're not world class,
yes,
then nobody's going to pay you.
No.
You don't even think about it.
Right.
So, but what fuels that performance
Yes.
is that your insatiable appetite to get mentors, to learn about it, and you become better and better. The willingness to try, that you just don't care. Don't pay me, it's okay.
Yes.
Let me just try it out. Let me give me some roles. Let me just do it. So performance has to be a factor before the last one, pay.
Yes.
So people will pay you only for your performance.
Yes.
If you are a shit photographer and you love it and you think it's damn good, people will be like, this is shit.
Right.
Nobody's going to pay you.
It's true.
So you're not in performance level. So it could be that your UX, you didn't reach that performance because the environment didn't groom you. You had no mentors. You could be like, actually, I don't know where else to read. I have nobody else to talk to because UX is so new last time.
Right.
But for photography, you had a few people in Far East Plaza.
Yeah.
So coming back, take us through a little bit more. Then after that, when you did lifestyle photography?
Yes.
What is next then? When do you know that, okay, I think I'm going to narrow down to portrait?
Oh, that's really interesting. So technically, right, I didn't narrow it down to portrait. Yeah, I actually still do quite a few things. I do work for hospitality.
Right.
We do shots for hotel rooms.
Right.
But what we found, this is actually a very late stage thing. What we found that in the last 10 years, right, photography has changed and evolved into something that's really ubiquitous. So photography...
Okay, what's ubiquitous?
Meaning that
Can be anything.
anybody can enjoy it, anybody can create.
Okay.
It's become like, you can, like chicken rice. You can find chicken rice everywhere.
So with my iPhone,
yes,
I can be a photographer.
you can be a photographer, yeah. You can. You
Okay.
can be famous overnight by doing stuff.
So which means that because the barrier is low,
yes,
something needs to happen
yes,
for you to be a professional.
correct,
Okay.
correct. So what I found out, right, it was trial and error. But that we started doing a lot more social media and marketing about 10 years ago. Because we realized that we needed it because the business was changing and I was actually getting sidelined.
Okay.
And people were forgetting about me.
Right.
So what we did was that we worked with magazines, we worked with different people, and we found out that people needed a hook. In terms of marketing, right? Clients to be needed a hook to understand in one sentence what you're really good at.
Okay. True. So I think this was also said when they were trying to pitch Star Wars last time.
Yeah.
So they everything was Clint Eastwood, the Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
They have no idea what means space and all that.
Yeah.
So I heard a story that they just pitched it that it is the Wild Wild West in space.
Yes.
That's it. Yeah. It's cowboys in space. Then it clicked for them.
Yes.
So what was that for you, or what do you find out about that?
What I find out, okay, for me was that the clients, I started on a journey of trying to understand my clients from their point of view.
Okay.
It sounds very simple, no, but as a photographer who has done stuff the old school way, been trained the old school way, photography as a thing was an art form to be practiced by only a few because it was film and all that, right?
Yeah.
So when you're a photographer, it was a thing.
Yeah. No, it was because it was a high barrier.
It was high barrier.
One lens already a couple of K.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
And you don't know what you're going to get after a few days later, right?
Yeah.
So when digital photography kicked in, it changed things for a bit. But when Instagram came in, right, it basically everything shifted.
Right.
Yeah, it was a huge shift. So long story short, I realized that people really liked my black and whites and my portraits.
Okay.
But more so the portraits. He had something that people really liked. People said that they felt that it was the sense of I realized it was a sense of connection with the picture.
Right.
Then I realized, okay, why not we market ourselves
Right.
and just plonk ourselves onto that
Right.
and just for a website, right, completely streamline it. Front page, show the portraits, especially on celebrities and all that.
Yep.
It turned out to be a good thing because after about 6 months to a year, people started saying, hey, Wesley, your portrait stuff,
Yeah.
we love it.
Yeah.
Can you do this for us?
Yeah.
Can you do other stuff like group of people? I said, yeah, why not?
Yeah,
So
okay.
I did all the rest of the stuff,
Yeah.
but portrait became a hook.
Got it.
Yeah.
So that is like you go to the Tzu restaurant.
Yes.
That one, the Marmite chicken. You must eat the Marmite chicken. Yeah, but fried rice is so nice.
It's not bad.
But it's the Marmite
Yeah.
chicken. So you go there, you will spend for everything
Yes,
else, but you know
exactly.
them for one thing, that signature dish. So for you,
Yes.
in terms of marketing, for you realize that, was it more of the market telling you that portraits really came out, or was it more of like, I know it's portraits?
I think it was the market.
Okay, so the market told you branded yourself
Yes.
as that.
Yes.
You got a lot more deals coming in
Yes.
because of the funnel on
Yes.
portraits.
Yes.
But they so happen to, I also have my family. I
Yeah.
also have my other things.
Exactly.
And all that.
Exactly.
So it's always the first in business. The client acquisition is the most important.
Yes.
Most difficult.
Yes.
But once you get that trust.
Yeah.
Everything else.
And
You do
you'll
for
tell
your
the
family, you do
friends,
for everything.
they'll say Wesley portrait. So it became a
Okay.
thing. So
Okay.
they it was very simple. Remember,
Yes,
Wesley
yes.
does portraits.
Yes. Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. Wow. So that's okay. So and for now you are known for portraits.
Yes.
But you do also everything else.
I do everything.
Okay.
We do quite a lot of stuff. The only thing that we still don't do, where we pass it on to our associates.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't do newborns. I tried it once.
You mean those like in the leaf come out like?
Yeah. I tried it. I felt very poor thing, because we got a baby handler because they
yeah.
come with it. So we realized didn't like it. We found someone who was really
Okay,
good. We
okay.
recommend to them.
Yeah.
I don't do jewelry because
Okay.
I found that I don't have a deep love
Okay.
for products and all that.
Right.
So we work with people that
Okay.
are really good at that. But most of everything else, I love hotel rooms. I love shooting resorts.
Right.
We
But
shoot
it's so
everything.
different.
Yeah.
So a building.
Yes.
How does it speak to you the same way as, because if I'm thinking about, if I'm a portrait photographer, right,
Yeah.
I want to take out as much realness.
Yes.
I want to almost put the soul in front of it,
Yes.
so that you can see him or
Yes.
her for who he is.
Absolutely.
What is in a building?
So what is, okay, why don't we expand the question? What's in a building, what's in food and all that,
Yeah.
right? So what I found now that what's really important, this is one of those deep photographer secrets thing, right? Is that in order to get a great photo, there must be a story behind the photo.
Okay.
So I asked myself, let's say for food,
Yeah.
what is it about food that I want to bring across? Then I realized that for me, I'm a foodie, right?
Yeah.
I want to eat it.
Yeah.
I want food to look very so eatable and so delicious, right? They look at it, it just say, I want to touch it, I want to eat it.
Yeah.
So for a resort, for a building, right?
I want to
for
stay
a
there.
room, yeah, exactly.
Right.
What do I want the perfect hotel room to be like?
Right.
What do I
Warm,
want to be
clean.
warm? You see the sunlight coming
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
You see it kind of big.
Yeah.
You get a sense of the texture of the bed. Yeah.
Right.
That's the
And
thing.
A little bit of not Singapore, but in Singapore. That kind of feel.
Yeah, you can.
Okay,
The
okay.
sense of familiarity, comfort.
Okay.
So I found that what worked for me was to help to distill the image into emotions, into things that people can relate to.
Cool. Cool. Okay, so now you're doing all that, and
Yes.
I just wanna overlap what I understand about passion,
Yes.
what I believe about passion to you in terms of photography for you. So passion, I believe that there are three parts of passion. Most people think passion is fluffy. I believe that it's actually quite empirical. First part is interest, right? You're able to talk about that topic. For you, photography, are you able to talk about the topic like crazy?
Yeah, anything.
Anything.
Yeah, anything.
Is there particular parts of photography that, like, is it gear? Is it like how do I connect with that person?
Right.
Is it story? What is it that
Right.
you feel that, wow, I talk about it for 5 hours, no issue, Jason.
Okay, at this point of time, what I find most fascinating about photography, right, is that when I look at a set of work
Yeah.
and I get a sense of what that photographer's world is. And that's really excites me. Like, for example, that means you get a sense of who the person is, how he sees the world. Or there's this photographer in Singapore, which I really really like his work. His name is Sean Lee. He's an ACS boy. He shoots a lot of about relationships. He shot his mom and dad together.
Right.
He shot couples together. And I found it very interesting because the way that he looks at people and the way he understands the world, it basically just excites me. So I'm really about discovering what the artist is about, what their story and what their narrative is. And that's really exciting. We can talk about it for ages, you know.
Okay. Well, that's deep, man. That's like behind the lens.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
looking
yeah.
into the mind behind the lens.
Yeah. We love that. I mean, you get a sense of, you see the portfolio, right? Oh, the photographer sees people like that.
Right,
No
okay.
wonder. It's so strange, so interesting, you know.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, I love that.
Okay, so interest for you, high.
Yes.
Super high. Okay, so
Yeah.
then second one, strengths. So strengths means that there's a natural tendency for you, there's a natural thing, it's almost like you can see it, other people cannot see it.
Right.
You have an unfair advantage.
Right.
It could be as simple as I'm able to make that person feel comfortable.
Right. Right.
But for you, what do you feel, because it's so wide, there's people and there's buildings
Yes.
and inanimate objects. Is there some correlation you feel that I can just see it? I don't know why other people cannot see it. I see it. I stand here, I know where to take. What would it be for you?
Oh, I you know what's really interesting? I find that the last couple of years, I can almost feel, I know what my clients really want. Long story short, like for example, whatever I work with, right?
Yeah.
Let's say, for example, the business side of it. When I talk to a client, because I've been working with clients for so long, right?
Yeah.
Comms and marketing people, right? When they talk about certain things, right? Emotions and all that,
Yeah.
I know immediately how it translates into the image.
Okay.
And this is, I think, one of my strengths, that I'm able to take that and translate it into an image that works for them.
Right.
That's like, for example, a school has something about integrity,
Right.
about passion,
Yeah.
about strength, about tenacity.
Yeah.
So I can translate that into an image.
Right.
I think it could be partly due to my reading disability thing, because when I think about emotion, it's always in imagery, it's not in words. Yeah. So that is what I feel that is my strength. And when and can be granular in the terms when I look at a building, I look at a space, I look at a person, I get a sense of who the person is. And I try to bring that out.
Right.
The sense of who the person can be, especially a teenager, you know, that. Also a space, like I get a sense of what the architect is thinking about. So I take his world and translate it into a photo. I take who you are and translate it into a photo. It's translation work lah.
So it's almost like you are trying to go to the core
Yes.
of
The
an
DNA.
architect. Yeah, the DNA.
Yeah.
Which is covered with everything now.
Yes.
And maybe for portrait, they're covered with that shyness
Yes.
in front of the camera.
Yes.
So you're trying to draw it out to a point where you suddenly see that soul come out, that
Yeah.
DNA come out
Yeah,
for a
yeah,
while,
yeah.
and you snap it.
Yes, absolutely.
And same of building. Why that person built it a certain way,
Yes.
or same for a client.
Yes.
They really want this. This is kind of how it looks like.
Yeah. Correct.
Who taught you that?
That's very interesting. Actually started from about 30 plus years ago. I realized the key for having a really great shot was actually empathy. So that is something that I really, empathy is, I think empathy in my work is everything. Ability to say that I want to be in your shoes and see the world from your perspective and see how it feels.
Right.
And that is really exciting for me. That is, my curiosity is that. It's about, I'm always wondering who the person is, where it comes from, what's his impulse, you know, what he loves, what he doesn't love, you know, the culture, everything, you know.
Right.
I'm
That sounds
naturally curious.
Like hardcore method acting. Right? You go into that person for a short while and then you try to figure out how
under
that
their
person,
skin. Yeah, absolutely.
Empathy. And who taught you that? I mean, you know about that, but who taught you that?
Is
it you picked it up or what?
Oh, this was very interesting. I don't know. I think it could be, you know, in a way it could be spiritual, but there was I remember very distinctly, there was this particular this rugby game.
Yeah.
I was covering for this school, it's AGJC.
Yeah.
And it was part of the prospectus, right?
Yeah.
And they were supposed to win that match, that game,
They lost.
but they lost that game.
Oh my goodness.
So I was like,
And ACJC is like good for rugby.
yeah, it was good rugby,
Yeah.
right? But they were going against RI, so
Okay.
it was the thing. Was at
Tough one,
Padang?
tough.
It was very tough. It was Padang, one of the last few games.
Yeah.
And what happened was that one of the star players, right, and he was hugging another guy, and he was like crying. Then I took a step back, So how do I do this? Because I felt that if I went in to take a photo for publicity, right, I was a predator.
Right.
I was literally stealing that image from them.
Yeah.
Then I was thinking then for a while, what should I do?
Yeah.
Then I realized that I had to take it, I had to empathize with him.
Okay.
And I had to take it with a sense of putting myself in his shoes, putting myself as part of the environment. Because in the traditional idea of photojournalism, right, the idea, it was that I'm an observer.
Yes.
I realized
You're a voyeur.
Yeah.
You're outside. I don't
Correct.
care how you feel.
Correct.
You're hungry.
Correct.
I just take a photo.
Right, but I felt that didn't work for me.
Okay.
That wasn't a thing for me. I realized I had to be part of that whole vibe, that whole thing.
Okay.
So in the end, I said, okay, I had to switch my mindset. I had to take it from a compassionate point of view,
Right.
and to take it in a way that gives him dignity. And I did it. I spoke to that gentleman many years later, and he said that he didn't feel threatened,
Right.
but he did feel wondering what was this guy doing. See,
Right.
but I felt I didn't do it.
So what do you mean? That means you went there. You
I took the same shot, but my mindset was different. So the way I acted, the way I it wasn't about the best picture. It was about, hey man, I know you're suffering.
Yeah.
I'm here with you.
Yeah.
Let me just get a shot. You
Okay.
know? And it was it was a connection between me and those guys, but it was from a non-threatening point of view.
Right, right.
And I have a feeling people can tell when I do my portraits,
Yeah.
when I do with people, right? People can tell that I'm not here to steal their face. I'm not here to get my job done. I'm
Right.
here to be with you,
Yeah.
to walk alongside you for the next 5-10 minutes and just enjoy the
Right.
time together.
Yeah.
And for me to grab a nice shot of you. lah.
So it's empathy is. I've been listening to so much about empathy.
Yeah.
The best way to influence somebody is also empathy. The best way to lead somebody is also empathy. And it sounds like the best way to take a photo is
Yeah.
to really show that emotion.
Yes.
Is that you empathize with them.
Yeah.
And you're there. You feel their feelings.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And
So that is
yes.
you feel that is the strength that you have.
Yes.
The ability to, and you can feel it here.
Yes, I can feel it. And I believe people can feel it. The
Right.
person the person I'm taking the photo for, the person will
So
know.
they don't feel that you're fake.
Yes.
They don't feel like, he's just going to take a photo because I paid him this amount.
Correct.
And he's going to tell me pleasantries and that's it.
Yes.
He feels that
Yes.
I have a friend I can open up with.
Yeah.
And I want to open up to you.
Yes. Not so much a friend because we know that we are not really friends, but
Yeah.
that I'm a fellow human being.
Okay, I see you as a human.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
respect.
Yes. No matter what title you have,
Yeah.
Celebrity,
Yeah.
VIP, ministers and all that, right? I'm here to be a human being with you.
Okay.
I'm looking past your title.
Yeah.
And I'm here to take a really nice shot of you. Let's do this,
Cool.
So it's I feel they can feel that I'm here
Right.
for them. Wow. Yeah.
Deep. Okay, so that's strength. Last one.
Yes.
I believe that values play a big part when it comes to the passion that you have.
Right.
Values basically means that I live out certain things in my life that I feel that this is so important in my life and I want to showcase it through my work.
Yeah.
What value do you feel that photography helps you to showcase? That you feel that you're living out that value and that's why you look forward to your work that you do.
Right. Actually, the funny thing, it's very cliche, but it's really about beauty.
Okay.
Yeah, it's about making. People always say that, oh, I look terrible, I'm not
Yeah.
photogenic. But I look literally thousands of people, right?
Yeah.
Portraits, right? I find that actually, given the right lighting condition, the right pose, the right angle, the right lens, actually there is a shot that can be really quite nice. That says something about you,
Yeah.
makes you look good. So for me, my job is to find that angle,
Yeah.
that tilt of the head, that look in the eye that really works, that
Right.
sinks 100% completely.
Right.
Yeah, so that's my job, is to do that within 15 minutes. Yeah.
And what about beauty that's so important in your life? Why can't you just go through life and not share that beauty? Why?
Wow, that's a really good question. I think beauty inspires us. It makes, for me, very simple. It makes me happy, and it makes me float. It makes me feel that there's more to life than just work, eating, drinking, and all that.
Yeah.
So if I can create beauty out of something that's supposed to be work, right, and people can see that, hey, in my portrait, I look beautiful, or even better, when I capture a C-suite person, right, and in that photo, right, I bring out his youth, and he says, wow, in his mind that I can look young again. And that's wonderful for me, you give him a glimpse of his youth in his photo, and still recognizable, of course, right now. But it makes me happy that they're happy, they see the beauty in themselves. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I love sharing that joy. So I think that's the thing. So it goes for the rest of my stuff. When we take property, we take hotel rooms, we take food. It goes for everything, that they see beauty in whatever they're creating, whoever they are in a particular place.
Right.
Yeah.
When somebody takes, what happens to a person when they take that portrait shot, when they look at it?
Yeah.
What do you really want them to see? Like when, let's say you went through everything and then you found that perfect shot. When they see themselves, what do you feel that you want them to see?
I want them to see the best side of themselves. They especially what I do with, sometimes I do with, it's actually a very practical thing. I found out that very petite folks, especially women, when I can make them look, give them a bit more power, a bit more presence, right? In my photos, right? They for that day, for that half a day, they feel like $1 million. He said, wow, Wes, I look good. Or that I've got stature, you know. So it makes me very happy that I gave them a different look at reality for them. So it's still reality. I don't cheat in any way, but I tweak the camera, I do certain things, and they look really, really good, and they look that they got presence. I want the photo to have presence, and for them, and from that they can tell, and they get very happy. I'm happy too.
So it's for them to see something that
they don't usually see.
They don't see, or maybe they don't even believe in themselves.
Yeah, true. Absolutely.
And you're just giving another angle that it's another facet of them that you can capture that strength, that beauty in them, and you're actually showing it to them back. And it's like, hey, this is you.
It's like a mirror.
And then but they're shocked.
They get surprised.
They get surprised.
Yeah, they get very pleasantly surprised. So of course I'll tell them I'll do the Me Too and all that, but usually the shot will show them that, wow, I look really good. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Wow. I think from the way that you share everything, it really goes, I mean, it's almost like it really goes deep into you, to a point where your camera and the work that you do is an extension of your soul and your spirit, and you're just trying to connect with another person.
Yeah, absolutely.
In a soul and spirit way, and hopefully everybody's life is better. Awesome. I got a question for you. If you were to, because passions change. I believe passions change, right? Sometimes passion change, sometimes it just carries on. For you, in the next 10, 20, 30 years, do you think photography is the thing for you, or could there be things you're exploring as well?
Yeah, I'm exploring other stuff at the moment. But I found that more and more I enjoy specializing. We do a lot more portraits nowadays, especially after COVID, right? We found out that people are willing to, they appreciate a really good portrait because I think they use it online and everything. So I don't think I'll retire because I really love it. What I really like most is the fact that I can connect with another person through the session, and even though it's a stranger, right, we get to have share that particular point of the journey with them, right, and it's in a way it's a nice milestone, like a wedding. I can be there with them to capture that moment, and for them to capture a really good portrait, right, and they see themselves differently, and some of these people, right, they keep their portrait for like 10 years, Yeah, it feels really good, definitely.
Yeah. Thanks. So one last thing.
Yes.
I mean, like for those who don't know, like my family portrait, all that also taken by Wesley. Company portrait also taken by Wesley and all that. So and we really enjoy it. I mean, there's I think since 19 years old, when I was 19, 20, 30 years ago, he already took photos of me. So, yeah, we go way back. So one thing, I enjoy life hacks a lot. I love to hack things. I love to find out there's a better way of doing it because somebody knows something.
Yeah.
Is there any life hack that you feel that you can share with me about photography and share with everybody? Is like, hey, actually, if you do this, you might get better results. Anything?
Actually, it's quite interesting. I find that most people, right, don't know they can adjust the brightness on a picture before they take it.
Okay.
You know how to do it?
No, I didn't.
Seriously?
I don't
Okay,
know.
it's quite interesting.
No, I only adjust ISO if I'm using a DSLR. Right?
Yes.
Is that brightness?
That's not, yeah.
Oh, you're talking about phone?
Phone, yeah.
Okay, phone, I know you can swipe down.
Okay, swipe down. Is it? Yeah,
Swipe down. That
yeah.
means you have a picture there for iPhone, then you swipe down a little bit, then it goes
okay,
down.
you know that already, right?
I know that, but I never use it. Why should I use it?
Why should you use it? Because
isn't it auto, ma?
Oh, that's a very good question. So one of the life hacks is that the camera, no matter how smart it is, right, it can't see the way that your eyes see a picture. So sometimes when you have a person who's very small and wearing white and the background is dark, right, the camera tends to overexpose.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why we have that little, when you touch the screen, right, we actually pull down.
The sunlight comes out.
Yeah, so because at this point in time, I don't know what's going to happen next time. The camera cannot recognize that it's a human being that needs to be exposed properly.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
so
the thing.
When you bring it down, what is it?
The person becomes slightly darker and the photo becomes nicer. Usually, one of the things is that, I'll be honest with you, right?
Yeah.
90% of the shots you do on the iPhone actually are good enough for almost everything. In fact, my own private stuff is iPhone.
Okay.
I don't use a DSLR. I don't use any...
Convenience, just in your pocket.
Exactly, right? The best camera is the one with you. So, yeah, that's that.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing it.
Welcome.
One last thing.
Yes.
When it comes to passion and all that, what would you say to people who are, I have this photography that I have, but I'm in IT, pays well and all that. What would you say to that?
Oh, it's a very good question. This is a very interesting story. The best photographers and the not best lah, one of the most artistic, prolific photographers in Singapore, right, is not a full-time photographer.
Oh my goodness! You serious?
He's actually one of them is an art director. I don't know where he's doing art directing. The other one is actually a partner in a firm. So a lot of young photographers, right, they make the mistake. Not young photographers, a lot of photographers, including all ages. I'm not just young. Yeah. They make the mistake
must go full.
Of conflating full-time photography with being an expert. These two are two very, very different things. You want to be great at photography, means you must be a full-time photographer. That's the equation.
I get it.
It's completely false.
Okay.
It's completely false.
So I can continue doing what I do.
Yes.
And be a good photographer because you carry on just growing.
Yes.
Okay.
In fact, the photographer that I know, case in point, he actually spends 1 or 2 months of his annual leave going to Japan, going to Tunisia to get shots. And he's perfectly happy. In fact, his stuff is selling on stock images on that. He's perfectly happy doing his work. So to do it as a business, right, it's a whole different mindset.
Yeah.
And it's very different from doing stuff that you like to do.
Yeah, because you include the marketing, branding, the social media and all that. Yeah.
Everything.
What about if, besides photography, if you were to talk to somebody who has a passion, any passion, but they're just not willing to go for it because I just need that stability that Singaporeans that we need and all that. What would you tell them?
Actually, that's a very good question. I believe, right, that when all of us, right, we have something that when we are born, right, we are designed instinctively and intrinsically, right, to do stuff. They were built to do something.
Yeah.
It can be art. It can be running.
Yeah.
It can be weightlifting. That you feel tremendous joy when you weightlift, or you feel tremendous joy when you write.
Yeah.
The thing about surviving in Singapore, right? I think that if you don't do what you are born to do, in any capacity,
Yeah.
professional or not, or dabble in a hobby that you really love, right? You might one might feel more and more dead.
Yeah.
I think as human beings, right, anybody in any country, in any culture, right, you have things that you like to do.
Definitely.
Yeah, and you don't do that even for fun, right? These things give you meaning, lah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think these things give you meaning, like the things that you love to do. It can be, anything small, collecting thumbtacks, collecting stamps. If you love it, do it. As long as legal
Yeah.
and it's ethical.
Right.
You know?
So for you, your view is that sometimes passion can just remain as a passion. It doesn't have to be a
Yes.
profession.
No.
But if you have that, pursue it because your life is more beautiful and brighter.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
then there's more meaning for you.
Yes, more meaningful. Yep.
But don't take the full practical route and just I work for money and that's it, and I don't really dabble in anything else.
Yeah, I think it's really hard. I haven't found anybody, right, who's happy just
doing that.
Just doing that.
Unless their job is their passion.
Unless their job is their passion, yes, I would think so. But in a certain way, right, how I try to marry my passion with my job, right, is that whenever I do something, right, I do what I feel my clients would like.
Yeah.
And there are times where I do what I feel that I like a lot.
Yes.
So I do what I like within that thing.
Yeah.
And once in a very long while, I'm very lucky I get what I call a commission project, meaning that I could have 100% art direction. Okay. It happens once in a year or once in 2 years. And I really love those because I get to be paid and I get to do exactly what I want to do.
Right.
So it happens once in a while.
That is the peak, right? For any artist that I commission you.
Yes.
I leave every art direction to you.
Yep.
I just want you to be in that art. I just want your DNA, your feel, your flavor there.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But it's that is actually, I think more and more it's going to be very hard to do because there's so many artists and all that, right?
Yeah.
But I do. It's just take it. I mean, if it comes for me, if it comes right, I just take it as a treat. Like ice cream along the way. Okay. I'm not going to gun for it. I'm just going to do what I do and all that. Yeah, but yeah, I'm very happy with that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time today about sharing your passion. I think most people just feel that it's too far away. So really thank you for sharing how photography is really you. And the beautiful thing about it, there's always a wilderness, guys. You will always try to find something. It's never the first time or the first thing, but it's really something that you just need to continue pursuing. And hope that you guys will be able to find that and start to live it up. So thank you, Wesley, for being here.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.